Buhari condemns Plateau bloodbath. It says perpetrators will be dealt with. On the foreign scene, Turkey election, Erdogan wins re-election as president. And in sports, Super Eagles coach says his team must be on the attack against Argentina. Details in a moment. Please do stay with us. And now the news in full. President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed regrets over the killings of innocent people in Plateau and avowed that his administration would not rest until the murderers and sponsors are brought to justice. The president stated this on his Twitter handle on Sunday night in Abuja. He described the incident as very painful and regrettable, adding that government will not rest until all murderers and criminal elements and their sponsors are brought to justice. The police command in Plateau had on Sunday confirmed the killing of over 86 persons in attacks on villages of Gashish district in Barkin Ladi local government area of that state. The Plateau government had since announced a dusk to dawn curfew in Rion, Barkin Ladi and Jos South local government areas to check possible breakdown of law and order in that state. President of the Senate, Bukola Saraki, has called on President Muhammadu Buhari to direct his security chiefs to immediately produce quick response measures aimed at tackling the spate of killings in the country. Saraki made the call while responding to the killings in Barkin Ladi local government area of Plateau, in which scores of people were murdered in attacks by unknown assailants on some villages. He said it is important for Nigerians to start having the assurances that the government is positively responding to the current threat to lives and properties in parts of the country. He said there is need to restore confidence in the system and demonstrate to the criminals behind the killings the capacity of government to tackle the issue and also punish them. Meanwhile, the Nigerian police says it has deployed an intervention force in Barkin Ladi and Rion in Jos South local government area and in other flashpoints across Plateau State. This follows the killing of over 100 people on Saturday night. A statement by the police spokesman Jimo Mashood on Monday in Abuja said 2 helicopters are for aerial surveillance, 5 armored personnel carriers and 3 police mobile force units were also dispatched. The intervention force, according to the statement, also includes 2 counter-terrorism units, police intelligence unit, as well as conventional police personnel from other states. The Deputy Inspector General of Police, Department of Operations, Joshak Habila, is said to have been directed to relocate to Jos to coordinate and supervise the operations. The new special funding approved by the federal government to tackle the ongoing counter-terrorism fight in the country is still generating some reactions. The National Security Advisor, NSA, Babagana Mungunu, had said the development is part of the implementation of a national action plan on preventing and countering violent extremism in the country. According to the NSA, ministries, departments and agencies playing key roles in the fight against terrorism will be required to include in their annual budget proposals for allocations in preventing and countering violent extremism in Nigeria.
Government pumping in money is just to enrich some of their bosses, because we have lost our conscience in this country. All what people are looking for is money. If government wants to be pumping in money, let them just have it at the back of their mind that they are just enriching some people. If government can set up all ex-military men, let them be together like the way US people does it. Anytime there is war, they call back all their ex-military, they go on decks, put your plans on how to eradicate or how to win the war against anything. But instead of doing that, we are just wasting money that's supposed to go down to the poor. The problem is that the readiness, we are not ready for all these things, and they are the ones even aiding all this Boko Haram, so that money will be coming in. Our military are not ready, and what they even want is, even if the ISIS even come, so that they can get more money from federal government. That's what their aims are all about.
If they dish out money from now to in the next 10 years, those that will get fat out of it will get fat. Those who are actually feeding from it are feeding from it. It's not all about money. Money is not everything. Let them come and strategize. Sit down together, put your intelligence to work. Sambisa Forest is not out of Nigeria. If we say we can't bomb Sambisa Forest because of civilians, how many civilians are there? Let them evacuate civilians from there. The money they are appropriating for this security, it's getting too much. Some people are feeding fat from it. What result have we gotten from dishing out money? Chief of security and all that, let them come together. Look for another strategy to make this thing work out.
Nigerians have called for improved public service delivery in order to speed up national development. The made a call as the world mark International Public Service Day at the weekend. The day recognizes the work of public servants and encourages young people to pursue careers in the public sector.
We need people who have a honest heart and who knows that every service rendered to humanity is equally for the good of human beings on behalf of God. As far as human services is concerned, we should have the interest and love of people at heart. And when it is conscious in the heart of anybody, then the easy way to disburse or discharge the services will be easy.
It's so unfortunate, but civil service is the only job anybody gets without applying for it. And the person is not qualified for it. So if I'm not qualified for a job, then what do you think I'm going to be doing there? I won't appreciate the job. So government needs to go back to the drawing board. Then people are actually seeking for employment because they know that it's the cheapest way to steal. It's the fastest way to enrich themselves. So there should be more monitoring and evaluation in the civil service.
Starting from the leader, not just the lower cadet. Civil servants are human beings like us, they are not spirits. We live in a world of virtual. What you see, what you do. If we can present ourselves very well to the public, a lot of things will reduce. There's no big deal about creating noise when there's no noise. A good environment for the people first. In an environment, then educating the mind of the people, then creating enough awareness.
At the weekend, Nigeria joined the rest of the world to mark International Day of Widows. International Widows Day is an opportunity for actions towards achieving full rights and recognition for widows. In Nigeria, widows are often evicted from their homes and physically abused by members of their own families. For many, the loss of a husband is only the first trauma in a long-term ordeal. Those who spoke with Human Rights Radio on the day condemned the barbaric acts being perpetrated against widows and called for actions to end the threat.
It requires grassroots sensitization for families, for communities. It's not just one person. People need to be aware that most of these things that are being done, they are barbaric, and some of them are not really true. Maybe some in-laws that are actually looking for ways to get back at the woman, they now get up and start whipping up sentiments and come up with a lot of ideas. And if people get to realize that this woman I'm doing this to, I also have a daughter, the same thing could be meted to her in her husband's house. No sensible woman would want her husband dead. So people need to be sensitized. They are not going to school for nothing. Why are you going to school when you are still living in the Stone Age? Then the essence of education is worthless. Ministry of Women Affairs need to do more to sensitize our people that women are the mothers of the society.
The attitude of some section or tribe of people in Nigeria here going after the inheritance, that attitude is wickedness. It shouldn't be welcome or nursed in the heart of family relatives after the bereaved is gone. So people should fear God and know that widow need to be taken care of. And they are rather to go and find out the will of the one who have departed or who died, and then follow the will by being good and caring for the said widow, because they need serious assistance and provision for all aspects of their life, for feeding and for the children's school fees and all that has to do with accommodation in case the dead one has nothing left behind. Inheritance should not be what people should be running after. It should be very paramount in their heart that love and caring should be their concern.
If you only condemn it, people also will not condemn it. What we want to do, sit down, dialogue. How can we save these people? How can we empower them? How can we bless them? How can we take them from this situation to the next level?
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory FCT, Mohammed Bello, has described as frightening the increase in the number of women who abuse drugs in Nigeria. Speaking in Abuja, the minister noted that the development is terrifying because of the critical position of women, whom he said constitute about 60% of the Nigerian population. He said the problem requires a lifetime effort and commitment of all to mitigate the trend, which he said is threatening the survival of the FCT and the country at large. In this interview, some pharmacists spoke to us on the dangers of drug abuse.
The issue of drug abuse is not what one can keep quiet about now, because it's the use of drugs that are not prescribed, even those that are prescribed for you, that alters your mood. When you take it, they make you feel high, give you that extra strength, extra energy. It could be prescribed as a result of managing pain, and before you know, addiction comes in. We have classes of drug like codeine. A lot of people now abuse it. We have tramadol. Initially, when they talk about people getting high, it's marijuana that comes to our mind. But the normal prescription drugs are what people abuse now. The government have gone ahead to ban codeine. People look for alternative. That's codeine preparation.
It affects most of the organs in the body. It affects your jaw. It can damage your kidney. It can damage your liver. Let's use tramadol as an example. The normal dose is 50 milligrams, and somebody will be taking 2,000 milligrams. And some of this drug, they will pass through the kidney. Of course, there will be organ damage. Then you, as a person, without this drug, you're not productive. You start getting depressed. A lot of things comes into your mind. You start thinking of how to kill themselves. Mental effect. Madness. These are some of the health implications.
There are a lot of issues that are around drug abuse. For young people, there's curiosity, ignorance, they may not even know, peer pressure. Parents need to be watchful and raise children up to be able to have strong, good values, that they will be able to have a good self-worth, and then they will be able to stand up against any bad decision that will be made.
For addicts, a lot of support is needed. You need your family, and your family needs to be there with you, and they support you with counseling and address any issue that is the root cause of you starting to abuse it. If it's peer pressure, they have to isolate you from those peers and try to create another cycle of people around you that will help you to get rid of their habit.
Take medication only when prescribed for you.
Nigerians have been asked to be more security conscious in order to report suspicious activities to the law enforcement agents in their localities. The call follows the arrest of some Islamic State in West Africa commanders in Kukuntu village, Gwagwalada, Abuja, by the Department of State Service, DSS. Those who spoke with us said everything must be done and everyone has to be at alert to detect and report any suspicious activities around them.
The only problematic areas are our porous border areas, because these ISIS militants, they are so intelligent that they will not like to come through the normal routes, say the seaports or the airports. They might use the opportunity of these porous borders to get into Nigeria. At the time, we don't know. And what are the numbers of representation of armed immigration officers, custom officers, as well as police border patrol? This is where the clarion call should go to the Interior Minister to do what is necessary and possible to ensure that some of these abandoned aircrafts and dilapidated helicopters of the Immigration Border Patrol Department are put into serviceable nature and use so that they can start hoovering, as well as the border police also.
We know security is one challenge in this nation, and there have been porous carelessness of our borders, and yet we have heard that there are security in places. But what are they doing? Where are they watching? When people are coming into this country without proper documents, cutting across borders without proper checking, this is what is causing problem. And this ICC of people, we know that government is the only authorized body that need to stop them. So there should be proper check on them to avoid them entering the country, whether day or night, and let them do their work to save humanity.
People need to be sensitized and be debriefed. People need to realize that keeping silent, being passive about situation is not the way to go, because it's going to affect you in the long run. Let's speak out, let's shout, and be able to nip such madness in the bud.
And we now take a short break. We'll be right back. Please do stay with us. Welcome back, and on the phone scene, Turkey's long-standing leader, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, has won a new 5-year term after securing outright victory in the first round of the presidential poll. Erdogan got nearly 53% with almost all votes counted. He will now assume sweeping new powers won in a controversial referendum last year, especially like the post of Prime Minister being abolished. Erdogan is said to have presided over a strong economy and built up a solid support base by investing in healthcare, education and infrastructure. But the 64-year-old has also polarized opinion, cracking down on opponents and putting some 160,000 people in jail. In sports, Super Eagles coach Gino Roy has admitted that his team must be on the attack against Argentina on Tuesday and carefully take the chances that come their way. Roy said it will be a tough game and the Eagles must go with a tough mentality from the start to the end. In 5 previous appearances, the Eagles have had to play Argentina in the group phase on 4 occasions. Argentina have won all 4. Argentina also won the last of the 2 FIFA World Cup titles. Nigeria overcame Iceland 2-0 in the second 2018 FIFA World Cup Group D match at the Volgograd Arena in Russia on Friday evening. If Nigeria wins, the wing of the African Pride will advance to the round of 16. And that's the news for this day. Thank you for listening. My name is Oikeke Igado Kure.